Have I told the story since I joined FaZe about time I had to get like an ultrasound on my tits? Well, I guess I have to talk about my embarrassing story then. The year is... So I'd just been diagnosed for cancer, and they wanted to know if the cancer had spread anywhere. I had to get like an MRI. I went in a tube. I also had a CT scan as well. So I had a CT scan because they give you the dye. You know the dye that they put in for CT scans? Those are awful. Not a fan of those. When it goes into your system, and then you're like, ugh, it hurts. Anyway, yeah, so I got the CT scan, and then afterwards they're like, okay, you've got the CT scan. Let's be extra sure to see it hasn't spread anywhere. So because it was in my head/neck, there's the possibility that it could jump to my lymph nodes, and then from my lymph nodes to my like chest. So they were just trying to, you know, be careful to make sure that nothing was found. So they're like, okay, come with me. You're going to get an ultrasound on your chest. I'm like, okay, that's fine. I've had breast examinations before. It's probably not that big a deal. I go into the room to get ultrasound on my boobs, and I'm joined by obviously the ultrasound operator, and then a trainee comes in as well, who's obviously on like a training course. So I'm like, well, this is weird. Now 2 strangers are going to be looking at my itty bitty Clio titty. You know, it's also in a very cold room because you have to take off your top, obviously. I was lying down on this table and they say, okay, well, if you've never had an ultrasound before, and I haven't, we've got to use the special jelly. And I'm like, oh yeah, the jelly. I know about the jelly. Can you tell me about the jelly? So while she's pairing, she's telling me about the process of what the jelly is for and all that jazz. And it's fascinating. And then she says, now this will be cold. And holy shit, is it cold. It is so cold to have the ultrasound jelly on your front bits. I'll tell you that. It's very cold. So it's an already cold room, and then I'm getting the ultrasound jelly on my chest. So let me just say that now my chest is all jellied up and it's fucking freezing cold on my chest. So obviously the body reacts to that by, when it's cold, your nipples go poo-poo. They stick up, right? Your nipples go And so the ultrasound technician says, okay, it's time to start. Now, whilst the jelly is cold, the ultrasound little machine scanning thing is quite warm. And so she basically starts from the top, and then she goes basically right to left across my chest with this quite nice warm device. And so she's basically just starting at the very top, so, you know, not touching the nipples at all, and just like slowly making her way down the breast. And she gets to the bits when she gets to like the nipples, right? So she is starting on the right hand side, and she drags it very slowly. I will bear in mind that it's a very slow scan because they have to constantly take images whilst they're doing the scan. And bearing in mind that I am in this room with a trainee as well. It's not just me and the technician. There's also the trainee just staring at my tits getting scanned, and it's very strange. And my nipples are very pointy because of the freezing nature of the room and the jelly on them. And then so because it's going so slow, she drags the little device over to the nipple, and then it catches on the nipple and then drags the nipple, and it pulls it along extra slowly because she's like being specific about making sure she's getting all the pictures of, I guess, behind my boob. And I'm just lying there going in my head because it feels, dare I say it, incredible. Dare I say it, I think you could pay someone to have this done to you. It's like agonizingly slow, drawn out. You're basically just getting the slowest stimulation on the chest. And it's crazy. It's like, it feels very, very nice. It feels very, very nice. And then eventually she finally releases my nipple and it goes boop, and snaps back to reality. And then I'm like, oh, thank God it's over. But the problem is, guys, that you don't just have one nipple, you have 2 nipples. So she's going across my chest, and now I know what to expect as she gets closer and closer and closer and closer across from my right boob onto my left boob, and then lo and behold, grabs the left boob, and then yep, it catches the nipple and it starts pulling it along, and I'm like, fuck. Fuck, no. Stop. And I'm trying not to make a noise. I'm desperately trying not to make a noise because I'm now, there's the trainee and I'm like, I can't let out a noise about the goddamn nipples being teased and pulled and dragged and played with, for lack of a better term. I'm fighting for my life here. Finally, it releases and I'm like, oh god, I'm in the clear. Except I'm not, because she goes back for seconds the other way and I'm like, oh my god. And I'm just like, I can't hold it. It's very, very difficult to hold it in because you're essentially getting an erogenous zone of your body constantly stimulated in front of the technician and then also the trainee. It was basically just getting nipple stimulation for 20 minutes, essentially. And I think I managed to keep it in, I think, but I might have made a sound, and I honestly have it kind of blacked out from my memory if I did make a sound or not, and I think that's probably for the best. They're probably used to it. Yeah, I think she could visibly see my discomfort on my face about trying not to get aroused or get off on it. That realistically, she's probably used to it, right? But it's just like, they didn't have to do it that way, surely, right? It didn't have to be that way, right? Just a heads up, if you have sensitive nipples, if you get an ultrasound on your chest, just be aware if you have to have an ultrasound there that it feels very nice. It feels very, very nice. Am I going to buy an ultrasound scanning machine now for personal use? No, I'm all right, thanks.
Everybody, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe to Low Effort Clips. That's right, Low Effort Clips, right here on YouTube.com. Yeah, and hit the notification bell. Yeah.